15 restaurant chains that could disappear in 2025. America's beloved restaurant chains are in trouble. Rising costs, dwindling sales, and customers cutting back on spending have left even iconic names teetering on the brink. Once bustling dining rooms now stand eerily empty as losses stack up faster than a weekend dinner rush. Poor management decisions, failed marketing gambles, and shifting consumer habits are revealing cracks in the foundations of these once thriving businesses. Think your favorite restaurant is safe? Think again. 2025 could mark the end for some legendary names. Here's the shocking list of chains struggling to survive. 1. Remember Sbarro? The pizza staple of mall food courts has been fighting for its life for years and losing ground fast, with mall traffic plummeting nearly 40% since 2020. According to Retail Dive, Sbarro's core customer base is disappearing. Meanwhile, heavyweights like Domino's and Papa John's dominate delivery, and trendy fast casual competitors like MOD Pizza are stealing the spotlight. Even Sbarro's attempts to reinvent itself, opening standalone locations in urban areas and smaller shopping centers, have largely flopped. Rising costs for essentials like cheese and wheat are only making things worse, forcing price hikes that drive frugal customers elsewhere. After shutting down dozens of locations in 2024, and with franchisees increasingly jumping ship, the once beloved purveyor of oversized pizza slices is on the brink. Without bold reinvention, 2025 could be the year Sbarro fades into memory. To Pizza Hut, the iconic red roof chain that defined pizza nights in the 90s, is fighting to stay relevant in a world dominated by delivery kings like Domino's. Its old-school dine-in model, once a key part of its charm, has become a liability. In the era of instant delivery and digital convenience, Pizza Hut is lagging far behind. Sales dropped nearly 12% year over year in 2024, with over 400 U.S. locations shuttering in the last 18 months, according to QSR magazine. Even attempts to pivot to smaller delivery-focused outlets haven't been enough to stop the bleeding. Rising costs for cheese, wheat, and labor are forcing higher menu prices, turning off budget-conscious diners. To make matters worse, quality issues like undercooked pizzas and delivery delays have damaged its reputation, leaving loyal customers disappointed. An internal memo leaked in 2024 revealed that corporate executives are exploring strategic alternatives, often a sign of an impending sale or breakup. Unless Pizza Hut pulls off a major comeback, 2025 may mark the end of an era for this stuffed crust pioneer. For decades, Friendly's was a go-to spot for ice cream sundaes and comfort food, but this family-friendly diner chain has been in decline for over a decade, and it's now hanging on by a thread. With fewer than 130 locations remaining in 2024, down from a peak of 850, the chain's future looks grim. Friendly's has struggled to adapt to modern dining trends, losing ground to fast casual competitors and independent diners. Our restaurant business report highlighted its inability to attract younger customers or shake its outdated image, despite efforts to refresh its menu and decor. Meanwhile, rising costs for dairy and labor have forced price increases, alienating the loyal customers who stuck with the brand through tough times. More closures are expected in 2025, and without a solid turnaround strategy, Friendly's could soon be little more than a fond memory for those who grew up enjoying its ice cream and sandwiches. For Ruby Tuesday, once a titan in the casual dining scene, is now a shadow of its former self. Over the past decade, the chain has shut down more than 600 locations, leaving just over 200 restaurants operating as of late 2024, according to Nation's Restaurant News. The lingering fallout from its 2021 bankruptcy, combined with the financial strain of the pandemic, has left the brand struggling to stay afloat. Franchisees are barely scraping by, burdened with high lease payments and unable to afford much-needed updates to meet corporate standards. Attempts to breathe new life into the chain, like revamped menus and at-home meal kits, have largely fallen flat. Fast casual competitors like Panera Bread and Sweetgreen have made Ruby Tuesday's offerings seem stale and outdated. Younger diners in particular see the chain as a relic of the past, and inflation has only worsened things, hitting Ruby Tuesday's core middle-class audience hard and making dining out feel like an indulgence rather than an option. With its footprint shrinking and its relevance fading fast, Ruby Tuesday could soon join the ranks of defunct restaurant chains. For decades, Chuck E. Cheese was the ultimate destination for childhood birthday parties, pizza, and arcade games. But by 2025, this nostalgic giant could be gone, while the chain survived a 2020 bankruptcy filing. Its financial troubles have only deepened since then. Bloomberg reports that its parent company, CEC Entertainment, faced nearly $2 billion in debt by 2024, driven by soaring costs and declining customer visits. The heart of Chuck E. Cheese's model, physical entertainment spaces for families, has lost its charm in a digital-first world. Kids now prefer streaming content or video games at home, leaving the chain struggling to attract its core audience. The pandemic accelerated these trends, and attempts to diversify with delivery services and frozen pizza products in grocery stores haven't been enough to turn things around. Customer complaints about outdated arcade machines, poor sanitation, and lackluster food quality haven't helped the brand's case. A 2024 class action lawsuit over alleged unfair labor practices has further tarnished its reputation. With mounting debt, a shrinking customer base, and stiff competition from both fast casual chains and home entertainment options, Chuck E. Cheese is on its last token. By 2025, the beloved mascot might retire for good, leaving millennials and Gen Z wistful for the simpler days of childhood parties. Six Hard Rock Cafe, once synonymous with rock and roll memorabilia and themed dining, is quickly losing its groove. According to Forbes, the chain has been bleeding money in recent years, with numerous locations quietly closing across North America, Europe, and Asia. While the brand still holds some appeal for tourists, its once novel concept has lost its luster. Millennials and Gen Z are largely uninterested in paying high prices for average food and aging memorabilia. The pandemic delivered a particularly harsh blow to Hard Rock Cafe, as its reliance on international tourism left many locations deserted. Even as travel rebounds, the chain's recovery has been sluggish, with customer spending falling below industry averages. Skyrocketing operational costs, especially in expensive markets like New York, Las Vegas, and London, have made profitability a steep climb. A 2024 report from Restaurant Business revealed that many franchisees are teetering on the edge of bankruptcy, citing high fees and dwindling foot traffic. Attempts to modernize, such as introducing localized menu items and live-streamed concerts, have failed to generate much excitement. Without a bold reinvention, Hard Rock Cafe may face widespread closures in 2025, marking the end of a cultural icon that once defined the intersection of dining and entertainment. 7 Red Lobster, the seafood chain synonymous with buttery biscuits and endless shrimp, is swimming in troubled waters. Rising seafood costs, particularly for lobster and shrimp, are slashing profits like a sharp fillet knife. According to the Wall Street Journal, the chain's parent company, Thai Union, had to restructure its U.S. operations after racking up multi-million-dollar losses in 2024. Inflation has turned Red Lobster's once affordable menu into a luxury for many middle-class families. And those legendary endless shrimp promotions? They're costing the company big time, with analysts estimating losses of up to $5 per customer during these deals. On top of that, fast casual seafood chains are stealing market share, and fewer people are opting for sit-down dining in an era of economic uncertainty. Unless Red Lobster can reel in costs and win back diners, it may find itself washed out to sea by 2025. 8 Red Robin, famous for its gourmet burgers and bottomless fries, is facing a steep uphill battle. Once a favorite in the casual dining sector, the chain has struggled to compete against fast casual powerhouses like Shake Shack and Five Guys. According to Restaurant Dive, Red Robin's sales have been declining steadily over the past 2 years, with dozens of locations closing their doors in 2024. Attempts to modernize, such as adding digital ordering kiosks and ramping up delivery services, haven't been enough to turn things around. Rising beef prices have squeezed profit margins, forcing menu price hikes that alienate budget-conscious diners. Worse yet, complaints about inconsistent food quality and slow service have further tarnished the chain's reputation. Younger consumers are flocking to trendier, health-conscious burger spots, leaving Red Robin stuck in the past. Without a significant rebranding effort, analysts predict that 2025 could be the year Red Robin serves its last round of bottomless fries. 9 Quiznos, the once trailblazing toasted sandwich chain, is now a shadow of its former glory. Back in its heyday, the brand boasted over 4,500 locations. Today, fewer than 200 remain, according to Nation's Restaurant News. The chain's rapid overexpansion and lack of franchisee support led to widespread closures and financial woes. Meanwhile, fierce competition from Subway, Jersey Mike's, and Jimmy John's has all but erased Quiznos from the sandwich scene. Efforts to reignite interest with new menu items and refreshed marketing campaigns. With its footprint shrinking and no clear path forward, Quiznos is running out of options. Unless it can carve out a niche in the oversaturated sandwich market, 2025 may mark the end of the once iconic brand. 10th, Krispy Kreme, the iconic donut chain once synonymous with its glowing "hot now" sign, is in serious trouble. Inflation has driven up the costs of key ingredients like sugar, flour, and oil, cutting deeply into profits. According to QSR Magazine, the chain saw same-store sales drop by nearly 8% in 2024, and high operational costs have forced several franchisees to close locations. Attempts to diversify through grocery store partnerships and limited edition flavors haven't been enough to turn the tide. Meanwhile, loyal customers are voicing their disappointment, claiming the donuts are smaller, less fresh, and no longer living up to Krispy Kreme's legendary quality. The brand also faces a double-edged sword. Health-conscious consumers are increasingly steering clear of sugary treats, while boutique donut shops are drawing away its audience with unique, high-quality offerings. Without a bold strategy to regain its footing, 2025 might see Krispy Kreme glaze over for good, leaving fans nostalgic for the sweet scent of fresh donuts. 11. Applebee's, known for its slogan, "Eatin' good in the neighborhood," is becoming a symbol of casual dining's decline. The chain closed numerous locations in 2024 as inflation and changing consumer habits took their toll. Applebee's core audience, middle-income families, has been cutting back on dining out, especially as prices for their once famous 2 for $20 deal now hover closer to $25. Younger diners, meanwhile, are ditching traditional sit-down spots for more modern and fast-paced options. Although Applebee's has tried to stay relevant with initiatives like late-night deals and karaoke nights, these efforts haven't resonated with today's diners. Executives insist the chain isn't going anywhere, but mounting losses and a rapidly shrinking customer base suggest that Applebee's could soon fade from the neighborhood altogether. 12th, Buffalo Wild Wings, once the go-to spot for sports fans and wing lovers, is now in serious danger of folding. Rising chicken wing prices, up over 25% in the past year, according to MarketWatch, have forced the chain to raise menu prices. But at $20 for a dozen wings, many fans are opting for cheaper alternatives at local spots or even making them at home. To make matters worse, franchise owners are reporting a drop in alcohol sales, a key revenue driver for the chain. Younger customers are shifting toward healthier dining options and innovative cuisines, leaving Buffalo Wild Wings with fewer new patrons to fill its empty booths on game days. Rumors are swirling that its parent company, Inspire Brands, may consider selling or shutting down locations. With dwindling customer loyalty and rising costs, Buffalo Wild Wings might not survive past 2025, marking the potential end of a chain that once defined game day dining. 13th Subway, once the king of the sandwich world, is crumbling under its own weight. Despite its massive global footprint, its size has become more of a burden than a blessing. Franchisees are grappling with razor-thin profit margins, skyrocketing overhead costs, and corporate demands that are increasingly hard to meet. In 2024, Business Insider reported a wave of lawsuits from operators accusing the company of predatory lease agreements and costly mandatory upgrades. The customer experience isn't helping either. Social media is flooded with complaints about skimpy portions and ingredients that feel more processed than fresh. Attempts to regain trust with premium offerings like fresh sliced deli meats have largely fallen flat, coming off as too little, too late. Despite aggressive rebranding and delivery options, Subway shut down hundreds of locations in 2024 alone. If the sandwich giant doesn't overhaul its operations, and fast, it risks becoming a relic of the fast food past rather than a leader of the future. 14. Chili's may serve up sizzling fajitas, but its bottom line is anything but hot. The casual dining chain is struggling to compete with fast casual heavyweights like Chipotle and Qdoba, which offer customizable, affordable meals that cater to today's on-the-go diners. Chili's reliance on traditional sit-down dining has made it less adaptable in an industry now dominated by takeout and delivery. Efforts to modernize, like introducing robotic servers and streamlined menus, haven't done enough to counter rising costs for food, labor, and utilities. In late 2024, its parent company, Brinker International, announced its lowest profit margins in decades. Rural locations, in particular, are quietly closing their doors to cut losses. While Chili's retains a stronghold in suburban areas, experts warn the chain may need to downsize significantly or even sell off assets to survive 2025. Without major reinvention, the iconic sizzle of Chili's could soon fade into silence. 15. TGI Fridays, the once legendary hub for vibrant happy hours and celebratory dinners, is losing its magic. The chain has struggled to stand out in an overcrowded casual dining market with declining customer traffic year after year. A restaurant business report from 2024 revealed that over 20% of TGI Fridays locations have closed in the past 3 years due to unprofitability. Rising food and labor costs have only worsened the situation, leaving franchise owners with little choice but to shut down. Attempts to appeal to younger diners with flashy menu items, think rainbow cocktails and indulgent desserts, have failed to spark lasting interest. Many locations, especially in suburban areas, are described as outdated and uninspiring by customers on Yelp and TripAdvisor. Even longtime fans admit that the chain's once iconic flair has dimmed significantly. With financial struggles mounting and customer loyalty waning, TGI Fridays may soon bid farewell to its famous slogan, becoming a nostalgic memory rather than a vibrant dining destination. The restaurant industry is at a critical juncture, facing the combined pressures of rising costs, changing consumer habits, and unrelenting competition. For many of these once thriving chains, the clock is ticking. As we look ahead to 2025, the survival of these brands feels uncertain at best, so enjoy your favorites while you still can, because your next visit might just be